Check, right? I'm gonna speak about this dream I had years ago, long time ago. See my little meal I made or whatever with some rice and all that other good stuff in it. Tuna. Like all person like purpose type season. I season that rice up real good. Got tuna on it. Ain't nothing but it's something. I'm just thinking. God gave you a meal to eat. A lot of people ain't got that, man. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, back to this dream I had. I remember in this dream, it's a powerful dream I had though. Real powerful dream I had. I had my glasses on because I was reading. It was something to drink. So I had this powerful dream I had. And in this dream, it was like me and a group of like a tribe or something. You know what I'm saying? But I was with these people who were it was like priests, like real high priest type of people, with had wizards and all, and they were old sage people. Like everybody was really like elders, you know what I'm saying? But there was this one, maybe like a wizard or something. I don't know. All I know, he advised everybody to grab hold to the branch. We walked up to this tree. He was like, "Take hold to your branch." So I grabbed hold to the branch, or a branch on the tree. Everybody grabbed hold to their branch and took off into the night. Now we're flying in the air through the night. And as we're riding on this tree, for some reason, the tree started hydroplaning. But it went to spinning real fast. As if like, it was spinning so fast, I just was holding on. And I knew in order for me to not get dizzy and lose grip to my branch, I seen the moon. But you know how the moon would kind of glare? Well, it was glaring, and I had to time the moon. And every time the moon came around, as it was spinning real fast, I was trying to line the moon up so I can keep my focus on the moon. Well, as soon as I can line up the moon, boom, we landed into this river of water. So when the tree crashed into the river, everybody's holding on to the branch as we ride in the coast on the river. There were two spirits, like maybe female spirits, shot out the sky like a torpedo, boom, came down on me, but when she came down, boom, she took me underwater. She got her hands on my chest and she's saying something like, "Do not fear." But as she's taking me deeper and deeper underwater, I'm holding my breath. So I'm like scared I'm about to drown. So as she was trying to take me all the way underwater, I got scared. And I remember this bishop, he was clairvoyant. He was prophesying over me one time, and I remember him trying, casting out spirits, but he said this one particular word when it's happening to me. I remember being prayed over, and the pastor of the church had prophesied about me and a couple other fellas that he had called to come to the church because of some court date. I had a pending charge at the time. My cousin had wrote a statement on me and whatever, and I ended up taking the charge anyway because I didn't want to end up taking a stand on me in court, so I went and just took the charge. But when he prophesied about that, and I got to that court date, I ended up seeing the same young fellas that he had prayed over that was in the church. They remember me, I didn't remember them. You know what I'm saying? They pull up on me in the bathroom, was like, "Hey, you was the fella that pastor prayed over in the church, bishop prayed over in the church." I'm like, "Yeah," and he like, "Dang, girl, we all got the same court date." I'm like, "That's wild." But I remember when he did pray over me, I could just see his aura. Like I knew he was one of those type of people who had to get the clairvoyance for some reason. I could just tell. And when I got close to him, and he asked me who I was or whatever, and he spoke about some things or whatever, and he told me I was gonna get through it or whatever. And he was like, "I just want to pray for you real quick." And he was talking about me smoking weed and all that. And when he went to lay his hands on my forehead, he was like loose. But for some reason, while I had my hands up and his wife had put the little oil on my forehead, I didn't know he was finna. I just felt his hand, but I didn't know when he said loose. I knew I was gonna catch a whole flash of light. You know what I'm saying? The top of my eyes flashed as if like, and my ears were ringing. But when he did that, I just collapsed. I wake up with oil in my mouth. I was gone. I didn't know what happened. I was knocked out. So I remember when I got back home, for some reason I couldn't smoke because my throat was stripped. Like days later though, you know what I'm saying? So I stopped smoking cigarettes. And I'm still smoking that weed. And oh man, I remember him telling me that. So for some reason, when the spirit was taking me underwater, I got to the point to where I knew I had to. I was frightened. I didn't know what was taking me underwater, but it was her and another female spirit behind her. And she was like, "Do not fear, such. But she taking me underwater so fast, it was scaring me. You know what I'm saying? So I said what he said when he prayed over me. I said, "Loose." And when I said the word "loose," she paused, and we just kind of floated in mid-water for a split second, and they took off and left me underwater. So I'm like trying my best to get back to the emerge to the surface of the water, but I knew I couldn't hold my breath much longer, and I knew I was too far underwater. So I knew I was gonna drown, so I let go. But as soon as I took in the water, thinking I was gonna drown, I realized I could breathe. So I'm breathing underwater like it was nothing. So I get back up towards the shore, and my tribe had left me. My whole tribe left me behind in the dark. I'm talking about I'm swimming down this river scared, but I'm swimming. I'm swimming by myself. I just can visualize. I don't know why I had the vision of knowing where they went, because the bank ended up splitting. Well, the river split. And I had two ways to go. But I knew, I just knew where my tribe went. But I just knew where they went. I was just following them because I knew where I was at. You know what I'm saying? So I remember, man, getting to the shore. I swam. When I swam, I come from out of the dark river into light. And it was just light. And I got up on this grass at the shore of the grass. And I looked up and I seen this huge building trimmed in gold. It was straight gold. I had never seen a golden building. And I opened the double door. For some reason, I was led to be a little bit more expressive about that today. But I was kind of led, man, because I knew that this is how I know who. And if my wife, out of all the stuff I actually truly been through, my wife is not someone who is not a seer. Like, I would not have to give her my intimacy for her to come to know me. I would not have to do that. I would not have to do that. She's gonna know who I am. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna know who she is. She's not gonna be blinded by fear. She's gonna know my circumstance. She's gonna know exactly how to apply herself in my life. And there's a lot that I learned that I don't disclose due to all of the things that I've been through. Like, I have had to clothe myself in filth in order to obtain certain things to free people. I've watched a lot of men become bonded by that fear of rejection, imprisoned by the approval of man and of the world, imprisoned by lust. I've watched this torment the masculine. A lot of men, project all this state of authority. They project all of this form of being courageous and callous and this fierceness as if they're not binded by fear. But our world wouldn't be the way it is if men weren't such cowards, for real. I mean, first and foremost, we're not accountable, as we should be. We eluded from our responsibility. That's just something that I felt like I should just take accountability for. But then at the same time, when I was young, I felt like, I knew that I was going to have to surrender or step outside of myself in order to save people, or in order to help people. I had already known this from a child, so I made some ignorant mistakes as a child too. But as I got older, and I gained the maturity thereof, and God had granted me the knowledge of my place in life and my authority as a human being, as a man. A lot of foolishness that the world would bind the average man by, I'm not binded by it anymore. And I know I'm going to be persecuted. I know I'm going to be judged. I know I'm going to be misinterpreted. I know that. I can give you an example of me having to step outside of myself. When I got caught on this charge, they didn't really necessarily have substantial evidence to convict me for real. So they sent in a friend of mine, somebody I knew off the street. This friend of mine was an imposter. He didn't know I knew he was an imposter. This friend of mine went so far as to acting as if he taking up sainthood and being in ministry with me, fasting with me, in the Bible every day with me. But he had on an ulterior motive. The whole time, he was going to use me to get out. The whole time, he was sent to sacrifice me. He didn't know I knew. So I had to play. Because once I realized what we call it on the street that he was a rat, I didn't know how to really gain the confirmation of knowing whether or not he was sent here at me, even though I felt it. I was wondering why he was always crying sometimes and saying he was sorry. I was wondering why he saying he's sorry to me all the time. You know, when he started realizing how sincere I was with God, I believe, I think that it weighed on him. You know what I'm saying? But I still wasn't sure about what it was. So I thought of something one day, and I was like, maybe if I act like I'm a rat, maybe he'll disclose if he won. So I came with suggestions like, hey man, such. And I pretty clothed myself in this. I never had the nerve to do it. But I was like, all right. So my man ended up, I said, I clothed myself pretty much. It was so long ago, man. But when he showed me, because he had so much information about certain things I didn't know about. When it came down to like the jail and what was going on and how it was ran, it was weird to me how he knew all this. Like, what you know how the booth look inside? How you know how the booth is set up inside the booth when it's like a two-way mirror? You can't even see in the booth. How you know what's going on in there? So I acted like I was considering. And my man really showed me that he was one of them. You know what I'm saying? It hurt me to my heart, man. Hurt me to my heart. When folks called me in that interrogation room, I played dumb. Like, I ain't knew. I'm like, man, look, I played dumb. I ain't had nobody I would do that too. You know what I'm saying? Knowing I knew what I knew, I'm accountable for I'm responsible for my own actions, man. You know what I'm saying? I ain't got to bring nobody down. You know what I mean? So there you have it. I'm here in prison serving 25 years. You know what I mean? But, man, I had to clothe myself and disguise myself in ignorance, man. Sometimes just to catch the wicked in their schemes, man. This is being transparent for real. But through my process of learning so much, I learned so much about the ignorance, about the wickedness, about the perversion. I learned so much. I knew that you really had to take, I knew that it required me to be courageous. It required that. I could no longer, in order for me to free people, I had to step out there with them. Just like a lot of our leaders over the past had to risk their life to do. Risk everything about themselves to save people. You know what I'm saying? So, I'm saying that to say, man, the only reason why I'm misjudged is because you don't know the means by which I operate for real. You don't have the mental capacity to comprehend this degree of courage. I don't even expect you to understand this degree of courage. A lot of men walk around here want to feel like men, belittling other men and people. A lot of men have to be exalted in order to feel like somebody because the world will beat them down so much. And all the work they do don't really amount to much to nothing. All the control dramas and the true imprisonment, you can't hide from me because I'm a man. So all that putting on the front like you really upholding the manhood for real. You're just as coward as a lot of other men that surrender themselves to lust and homosexuality and all the other things. In some form, you still placate to this cold way of society and their approval. For real. You ain't man enough to take up your own independence. But it's in your blood. It's in your nature. That's why you got a lot of men who out there, black men, who easy to say, F it. And be so destructive because it's in your nature to take up an independence. But the true independence is when you ultimately rely on God to provide for you. Most of you men think you take up an independence because you go and you depend on your boss or your employer to provide for your family. But you slave and prostitute yourself. No different from a homosexual, to me in my eyes, for things. Yet you claim you got security. You don't even know what security is. I've been keeping this to myself for a long time. I hear a lot of niggas, sorry, excuse my French, speak in a sense they don't really comprehend. I see a lot of men walk jewelry on and nice suits and carry themselves around like they're educated but really intellectual masturbators for real. Just another essence of you trying, or aspect of you being exalted with yourself, just to be approved by society. I read this in a book called Black Like Me. It's called Fragment Individualism. Yeah, a lot of you suffer from that. Man, the slavery is real. Manhood is a choice today and tomorrow for real. So, you couldn't possibly fathom what it takes to be this courageous for real. When it ain't nothing but just you and God against forces and powers that be, and many of you guys fold so quick under pressure. Quick. You hide behind knowledge that ain't even gonna protect you for real. Especially not to the soul. That you think you got it all figured out and you got a hand on what's really going on. You think you can see for real. But yet I find you only dependent on the means. Just like everybody else, who can't really possibly comprehend this courage. And this is not just me being arrogant with no ego, but I really trust my God for real. Because I wouldn't be right here saying what I'm saying. I wouldn't have made it this far alone. If it wasn't for my God for real. You can say spirit guides and all those watching over me, but who took authority over those to order whoever you say spirit guides is my God for real. Man, if you knew what it took to be able to give you some of this right here, and I know you've been yearning for it, to be able to provide for your families with, to secure your families with, to free your mind of the torment you've been dealing with that you suppressed for so many years. Go in that gym, yeah. Cover it up with that gym, my nigga. Excuse my French. Cover it up with that job you're doing. Go and cover it up. Make it look real, make it look good, make it look sufficient. But are you really providing security for your family? For your loved ones? For the children after your children? Are you really providing the security thereof? Some of you already like NPCs for real. You rather just go ahead and placate to society's norms and work a job other than going out and taking up your own independence. But God is about to require that soon. Or you might have to make a choice to be an actual NPC or your own man for real. You don't have to make a choice. You tell me I sit between two banks, but I've integrated in both. And I know the means of both. And I'm thankful that God has given me my independence to a degree. But true independence is only with total reliance on God for real. You over here caught up in domesticated things and preoccupations. You got your children crying and lamenting for privileges. You don't even know who your opponent is. Most of the times it's yourself. But go and point the finger. come up with some lame excuse. Do that. I know I'm servicing you rightly right now by all I've sacrificed about myself. Because it's gonna take somebody. Why not me? I done messed up this much. Why not me? Huh? You know what I'm saying? Come on, man. I already scuffed the shoes. They ain't new no more. You know what I'm saying? I might well put them to good use. I ain't expect you to walk down the path I walk. I don't want you to. I'd rather you not. And when I get where I'm going, you're gonna appreciate me. And if you don't, hey, just know, I know you're gonna know there's a God for real. I know that part. But I entertain and occupy people and spaces for a reason, by a totally different means. To try to even measure any aspect of who I am, it would be foolish on your part. It really would. But I'm gonna finish my meal, man. Thank God. It was a big God for my hearing now, for real. I mean, you know what I'm saying? This ain't gonna be all. The bowl ain't gonna be available for me. You know what I'm saying? Not for you either. You better know how to enjoy life. You better know how to honor God with every gesture of being. And then take up a real inheritance that you can leave down for your children. Try to do that. It's gonna take some courage, for real. It's gonna take some courage to take up what you need to take up. To invest for your kids. And no man can ever rob or steal from you. You ain't gotta depend on that. Well, hey, no power to you and your 401k. I love you.